We're about to analyse 2 subscribers playing singles and give them both technical and tactical advice to help them improve their game. This is Antoine from France, who's in the yellow t-shirt.
Now, Antoine is good. He's got nice, smooth footwork, and we've seen him play some great shots. But we've got one technical and one tactical tip for Antoine that will hopefully help him get to that next level.
Yeah, and we're going to start with our tactical tip. When you're playing a match, it's really important to try and quickly recognise shot patterns from your opponent. Here, Antoine's opponent is targeting his round the head corner a lot. In this 5-minute clip he sent in, his opponent cleared or lifted to this corner 35 times, which is a huge 80% of the time. And he only hit to the forehand corner 9 times, so just 20% of the time.
Yeah, but Antoine only hit an attacking winner once out of these 35 shots, which was also off a pretty poor lift, so he should have finished this one. The other 34 times, he just dropped or cleared it. Now, if we told Antoine, or you, that your opponent was going to hit to your round the head corner 8 out of every 10 lifts or clears, would you do anything differently?
Well, ideally, yes. The first thing you do is try and anticipate more, and then have an explosive push-off backwards.
Like we mentioned earlier, Antoine has nice movement. He's doing a directional split step, and he's edging on this side of the court because his opponent is also on this side, which is very good. But we never see Antoine anticipate and then really explode backwards so that he can reach the shuttle earlier and play more aggressive shots.
Yeah, let's compare this to pro player Chow, who's really good from his round the head corner. From similar lifts, he's often trying to tactically anticipate it and then explode from this push-off to play an attacking shot. Now, the second thing Antoine could do slightly differently is experiment more. As we mentioned earlier, Antoine pretty much only ever hits drop shots or clears. But as he's hitting so many shots from this corner, then he can try experimenting more, maybe with straight slices or stick smashes. But to be able to do this, he needs to make a slight adjustment to his technique.
Yeah, if we look at his upper body here, his legs are in the correct sideways position, but his hips and his chest are already facing the net. And this means Antoine can't rotate his upper body, and he can only use his arm to generate power.
And this is why he only ever played clears or drop shots. To do a cross-court smash, you need upper body rotation to create the power. And if you're playing a straight slice whilst facing the net, you're likely to over-rotate and hit it out the side. So again, you need to have some upper body rotation. So instead, for Antoine, as soon as he pivots, he needs to make sure he also positions his hips and upper body to face sideways.
So, linking this all together, the fact that Antoine only hits drops and clears from this corner is probably why his opponent kept hitting it there. Because if he's not getting put under pressure, then we can see why he kept hitting 80% of his lifts and clears here.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, before we move on to our next subscriber, Ayan, we want to share a couple of drills to help Antoine and you if you feel like you're being targeted in your round the head corner. The first one is nice and simple. Getting someone to lift multiple shuttles just to this corner. This is a great drill for focusing on the technique and footwork and also playing different, more attacking shots.
You can then move on to a 2-shot combination, where the feeder hits one shuttle anywhere on the court first. Then you hit this back to the feeder, and they then lift your round the head corner. This makes you have to move from different areas on the court and make the necessary small adjustments to get into the right position. The feeder can change the height of their lift, sometimes lifting high and other times lifting flatter. You therefore have to adjust your movement and also shot choice accordingly.
And make sure you have a slight pause after each shot to allow yourself some time to reflect.
Okay, let's move on to Ayan from Canada, who's in the black shirt. Now again, Ayan has some great aspects to his game, but similar to Antoine, we've got one technical and one tactical point that will hopefully help him get to that next level. Let's start with the technical tip this time.
So on this overhead shot here, Ayan is holding his grip quite high up the racket. You can see the rest of the grip below his hand here. Now, you might be thinking, there's not much difference between holding the racket here and here, right?
Well, actually, there is. First is that you're not striking the shuttle quite as high as you could be, which would help Ayan to create a better angle on shots like this.
Yeah, and secondly, holding the grip lower down creates a longer lever, which helps to create more power. Think of it like a golf swing. You generate a lot less power if you held the club at the bottom compared to at the top.
Yeah, and if you compare Ayan to the top players in the world, you can see they're holding their grip much lower down.
Now, we actually recently had a question in our newly revamped Badminton Insight Club, aka our Patreon membership, link in the description below, about how you're supposed to transition between these higher grips and these lower grips.
Well, it's a difficult skill to get to grips with, but one you need to get right. For this, you need to have a loose grip to start with, and then as you're moving to the next shot, you quickly move your hand up or down the grip. If you're moving your hand up the grip, then you almost let gravity do the work. And if you're moving it down, then you need to do a shuffle like this. And you might think, how do I have time to do that? But remember, you need to make these changes when you're moving long distances, so you've got a decent amount of time.
Now, if you don't have a loose, relaxed grip here, it's almost impossible to do. It will feel weird having pretty much no grip of the racket for a split second, but over time, you'll do these transitions without even thinking about it.
Yeah, and having a loose grip is equally important for changing between the grips. Here, you use your index finger and thumb to roll the grip in your hand, and then you use your other 3 fingers for support.
Okay, let's move on to our tactical tip we have for Ayan. Firstly, look how much his opponent is moving during these shots. From this angle, you can see he's hitting pretty much all of them from this zone here. Whilst this does mean that Ayan isn't making any unforced errors, it is making it quite easy for his opponent as he's not making him move.
Yeah, and if we compare this to the zone that the top players in the world hit into, you can see their zone is often much bigger. So whilst we wouldn't necessarily recommend trying to hit perfect shots on the line straight away, it's definitely important to utilise more of the court.
One practice to help get used to this is 4 corners. Here you hit 30 shots, ideally in a row, to a feeder who stands in one corner. This is quite hard, but it really trains you to be able to play accurately from any position on the court. Once you've completed one corner, you then move on to another corner until eventually you've covered all 4. This is a practice that can be used effectively at all levels, from 10-year-olds to beginner adults to pros. You just need to make sure that you're doing it with real purpose.
Yeah, we've seen pro singles players from countries like Japan, China and Denmark all doing this practice. And if you want to see pros putting these practices into action, we'd strongly recommend watching them live. Oh, what?
What if I told you I've been using something for the last 4 years to enable me to watch every live match?
What? That's how you're so good at knowing when to change between grips. What is it?
It's Surfshark VPN, and it's also helped me to find cheaper flight tickets to tournaments, avoiding location-based price discrimination.
That's how you've still got so much money left over to buy all of those new rackets.
It's also helped me to watch my favourite TV shows when we're abroad.
That's why you never talk to me.
So if you want to change your virtual location to watch live badminton matches, save money on flights, and also never miss your favourite TV shows, then you might want to download Surfshark VPN.
Yeah, and as a Badminton Insight viewer, you can get an extra 4 months using the code Badminton Insight at checkout. Just head to surfshark.com/Badminton Insight or click the top link in the description below.
It works out as less than $2 a month, which we definitely think is worth it. They also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee too.
And that's it for this more in-depth subscriber analysis. If you now want to learn some more ways to level up your singles game, then we'd recommend checking out this advanced tactics video here.
And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you smash the subscribe button. Bye.
Bye.